Yeah. Yunus alayhi salam, he was born in Iraq as well, in a city called Nainawa. Nainawa in Iraq. And the name of Yunus alayhi salam, Sahib al-Hut, the friend of the whale. Nabi Yunus alayhi salam, Allah sent him, such like most of the prophets, all the prophets, to their ummah, to their nations, to worship Allah Azza wa Jal and Tawheed, to worship only one Allah and one God. The ummah of Yunus alayhi salam, they were between 120,000 to 150,000. The Quran says, وَأَرْسَلْنَاهُ إِلَى مِئَةَ أَلْفٍ أَوْ يَزِيدُونَ. 100,000 or more. The ulama say that it's between 120 to 150,000, the nation of the ummah of Yunus alayhi salam. We know all of us the story of Yunus alayhi salam, that he gave up from the da'wah. And he told Allah Azza wa Jal, no one wants to believe. I gave up. So Allah told Yunus alayhi salam, go back to your ummah, tell them and warn them give them the last chance. Tell them, if you do not believe, within 3 days, the punishment of Allah will come. So he came and delivered the message to his nation and told them, if you don't want to believe, you wait for the punishment of Allah. It comes after 3 days. And he left. He said, if I'm a messenger, I'm a prophet, and the punishment of Allah is coming, why should I stay? I will go. So he left and he boarded the ship and start driving in the Mediterranean Sea. A storm started. And the pilot of the ship, he said, something wrong here. In our country, for example, we don't have rain in the summer. In your country, maybe you have rain all the year, right? It can be hot and suddenly you have rain. In our country, we have seasons. Rain in the winter, in the summer there is no rain. So it's example of that time. So it's not a time of a storm. The pilot said something wrong. There is a sinner in this boat. So they started to drop the luggage and the cargo from the ship in order not to sink in the sea. It doesn't help. So they make a lot, qur'ah, to see who's going to drop first from the passengers of that ship. So the first time it fell on Yunus alayhi salam. And they said, no, Yunus is a good man, he's a prophet. Try again. Second time, Yunus alayhi salam. Try again. 3 times. The third time was Yunus alayhi salam. So Yunus noticed that Allah wants him out. So he jumped from the boat. The ulama said that he didn't touch the water. The whale was waiting for him and swallowed him immediately. Then the sea and the storm calmed down. So it means that's it. We want Yunus alayhi salam. That's what we want. Yunus alayhi salam, he stayed in the stomach of that whale. Some of the ulama said for 4 days, and some of them said for 7 days. And imagine yourself in the darkness, in 3 darknesses. The darkness of the night, the darkness of the stomach of that whale, and the darkness of the deep sea. Who's you gonna call? Your father? Your mother? Nabi Yunus alayhi salam, when he noticed that he's still alive in the stomach of that whale, the only thing that he did, he made sujood. And he made dua. What is the famous dua of Yunus alayhi salam? لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. The ulama said that this is the best dua when you have any problem, when you have any musibah, when you have any kurba. You say لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. there is no one among us without sin. We are all sinners. I do not say that Yunus is a sinner. I do not say that Yunus made a mistake, because he's a prophet, he's a Nabi. But maybe it was a bad decision, it was a wrong decision of Yunus alayhi salam. But I'm talking about us, about human beings. We are all sinners. None of us is pure. So remember that Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, "Ud'uni astajib lakum." You make dua for Allah, Allah will make istijaba for you. So Yunus alayhi salam, "La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin." Allah respond to Yunus alayhi salam, and He said, "فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْغَمِّ وَكَذَلِكَ نُنْجِي الْمُؤْمِنِينَ." We respond to Yunus and we save him. Let me tell you about the whale a little bit. The ulama say that that whale can eat 4 tons of fish within few hours. Means that the stomach acid of that fish, that whale, can digest 4 tons of fish within few hours, but couldn't digest the little body of Yunus alayhi salam. Why? Because that's the orders of Allah. Don't kill him. And the order of Allah to the fire, don't burn Nabi Ibrahim. And the order of Allah to the knife, don't cut the neck of Ismail. Everything works by the rules of Allah. Have you heard about a fire that it doesn't burn? No. But the fire, Allah told the fire, "Ya naru kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim." And Allah Azza wa Jalla, He said in the Quran as well, وَلَوْلَا أَنَّهُ كَانَ مِنَ الْمُسَبِّحِينَ لَلَبِثَ فِي بَطْنِهِ إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. Unless he said that dua, he will stay in the stomach of that fish, of the whale, until يوم القيامة. Can you imagine that? If he didn't say that dua, he will stay alive in the stomach of that whale until يوم القيامة. But he read the dua, "La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin." Allah Azza wa Jal ordered the fish to throw him out. When the fish kicked Nabi Yunus alayhi salam out, his skin was damaged from the stomach acid of that fish after 4 days or 7 days. And Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَأَنْبَتْنَا عَلَيْهِ شَجَرَةً مِّن يَقْطِينٍ. Allah planted a pumpkin tree above Yunus alayhi salam in the shore. He was sick, he was ill, his skin was burned. Allah planted a tree. There is no trees on the shore. Allah planted a tree. It's a miracle. Planted a tree, pumpkin tree. Why pumpkin tree? It have a big leaves that it gives shadow and shade to Nabi Yunus alayhi salam to protect him from the sunshine. That tree has a special smell to push the flies and the insects away from Yunus alayhi salam. And it has a fruit, the pumpkin tree, it has a fruit which has antibiotic. So he eat it and he get well. And one of the ulama said that there is a deer, Gazala, comes every morning and evening and feed Nabi Yunus alayhi salam. Until he get well, then Yunus alayhi salam came to this cave. Under this maqam, we have a room, we have a cave, and he lived here for 1 year. So this is the house of Yunus alayhi salam for 1 year. The meaning of the name of the city, Halhul in Arabic means Halla Hawlan. Halla Hawlan means he came here for 1 year. So Yunus alayhi salam stayed in this cave for 1 year until he got well, and then he returned back home to Nineveh to see what's happened to his ummah. You remember his nation, that the punishment of Allah is coming? So Nabi Yunus returned back, and when he reached Nineveh, he found that all of them mu'mineen, all of them believers. How come? I call you for Islam and for da'wah, you didn't listen, and when I told you that the punishment of Allah is coming and I left, now all of you mu'mineen, what's happened? When they saw the cloud and the sky get dark, and they noticed that Yunus is right, the punishment of Allah is coming. They called for Yunus, but they couldn't find him. And they start to make dua. They raise their hands to Allah, "Oh Allah," and Allah removed the punishment. Allah removed the punishment. So dua is the brain of the ibadah. And that's the most important thing. To remember that dua, Allah Azza wa Jal said, Ud'uni astajib lakum. I want to tell you something. You never open your hand like this and call Allah. Allah will never send it empty. Never. Every time you raise up your hand and say, Oh Allah, give me, or ask Allah anything, Allah will give it to you immediately, or Allah will leave it to you soon, or Allah will leave it until Yawm al-Qiyamah and give it to you. And you wish that all your dua left until Yawm al-Qiyamah. So Allah will never send you empty hands. So remember to make dua, inshallah, for the land of Palestine. Remember to come to Masjid al-Aqsa, inshallah. Make dua that next time you come to Masjid al-Aqsa and you find the flag of the Khilafah, inshallah, on top of the mosque. Remember to make dua for all the Muslims around the world to have their worshipping free and freedom and peace all around the Muslim countries, inshallah. May Allah protect you all, and Jazakumullah khair for coming. You can, inshallah, take pictures for this maqam. Remember, this is empty. No graves here, no kubur here. This is maqam. In Arabic, maqam means makanul iqama, the living place. In this case, this is the living place of Yunus alayhi salam. When we go to soon to the maqam of Nabi Ibrahim, that's different. I will explain what's the difference between the maqam of Nabi Ibrahim and the maqam of Nabi Yunus alayhi salam. So inshallah.